While we are gathering virtually today, we acknowledge that each of us is on the traditional territory of many nations across Turtle Island.
We record in Toronto, the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples.
Today, it is home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples.
We offer this acknowledgement as a stepping stone toward honoring the original occupants, a testimony to the oppression faced by Indigenous peoples, and our commitment to creating dialogues aimed at addressing such systemic injustice. Wayne's desire to help is coming at a price. His chorin's interrupted not once, not twice, but thrice. Squirrely Dan suggests they go start a cable access show to answer questions and offer up advice.
That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
It's Thirsty Thursday, and that means we are once again hanging out at the Produce Stand, a podcast paying tribute to the great Canadian show, Letterkenny. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other podcasts about Letterkenny out there, but this one bets yous can't crack an egg. So I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room, as always, is the lovely Tanya. And online, we have Squirrely Matt and the proclivitous Victor. And joining us this week, he likes tweeting about beer and brewing. He's a transplanted Canadian living in Maine. He's into drums, lots of drums. He's a patron, and he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. Please join me in making some noise for Adrian.
Wondrous! Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wait!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I regret nothing!
Adrian, welcome back to the Produce Stand. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you, Al?
Pretty good. It feels like we just spoke to you because you were on last week on the Ag Hall social. So, you know what? You can take part in our How's Your Week then, since we've already spoken to you. How's that?
Seems good to me.
Okay.
I don't get how you guys do this every week.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How are you now?
All right. The lineup today is going to be Matt, Tanya, Al, Victor, and we'll let our guests have the last word. Matt, how's your week?
I'll say better.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll say, and I'm gonna start this in this way. So honestly, everything right now is kind of a shit show. My son, he was sick for almost a month.
Oh my!
He just got better. So
This is the youngest?
Yeah, this is.
Oh,
Katie.
right. He had that cough. Yeah.
Yeah, it got really ugly. It was a long sleepless night road. We're over that, which is great. My puppers, for those who know, he's about to go through a really hard time. He has to have surgery. All those who've reached out, offer some support. Thank you so much. You have no idea what it means to us. It's a big, expensive procedure that we have to have done to him. It sucks. But we've been told at the end of this, he'll be good. He'll be a happy puppy beyond this. And we just want the best for him. So I'll give updates on that. But on the end of the time, I feel like the last little while I've been very negative because there's honestly has been a lot of shit going on. So I'm gonna shift and I'm gonna focus on good things and I'm gonna try to highlight those because they're near and far between right now, but they're still there. So I would say my week was good. On Friday, I got out for a long overdue run. I actually ran 21.1K.
Wow.
Or to our American friends, that would be 13.1, which is half marathon. Half marathon. And it was not how far I intended to run, but it's how far my legs took me. And it felt fucking awesome. And so that was good. And then at work, I'm having a great week. I actually, there's an external award process. Now, you wouldn't even know about this, that some of the work that I have been leading specifically has been put forward to this committee. And actually the work I've been doing has been shortlisted as a finalist. And so that's pretty exciting. And, we've done it. This is a project that actually my VP laughs all the time that nobody asked me to do. I just kind of set up these meetings and started doing something. And then luckily I was right. And we've gone down this awesome path and I've solved some pretty cool things. And now we're getting this kind of recognition. So it's pretty awesome for myself and the people that I'm working directly with. So we're pretty excited. I mean, whether anything comes of it or not, whether we win it, just to get even shortlisted as a finalist is pretty awesome. It's kind of a career high right now. And so, yeah, there's some good.
That's great.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tanya, how's your week?
Oh my God, my week's exhausting. Like, we had our show on, I think that was Tuesday, was it? I don't even remember.
Yeah, 2 days ago. Well, we interviewed Alex. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
way back on Tuesday.
I'm telling you, that's how long the week is. I actually, so this is our first week with the kids home. Our son is taking a class for high school, a Kickstart, and our daughter is just kind of twiddling her thumbs. So I've taken upon it myself to run a daycare for her and entertain her and try to work at the same time. So I've come up with some pretty interesting ideas on how she can spend her time so it's not just all tablet all day long. So we took a deck of cards and hid 52 cards around the house, and she had to do a scavenger hunt and find the cards. And that helped her with counting and find the cards. And then we just took it one step further, where I kidnapped all of her stuffies and took a mugshot of them. And then they went and partied around the house. So it's just like this constant battle in my head of what can I do next? And I just make my life more complicated, I think. So
you need to write a book. This is amazing. These 2 items I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah.
That she absolutely went nuts for it. She really, really enjoyed it. And she wakes up just like waiting and like wanting the next thing. So we make days of the week, and today was fish day. And it was supposed to be just random fish all over the place, and she had to fish for things. And anyways, I didn't get there because I stayed up to 1 o'clock in the morning doing work from my full-time job.
Your actual job.
So yeah,
it's going to be
juggling a lot of things
summer
right now, and I'm exhausted. Yeah. I'm running on empty, but I think I'm a little loopy now. So
that glass is looking extra full tonight.
Oh, it is, my friend.
We should have fun loopy Tanya tonight.
Oh, it will be.
And I'm interested to find out about her thoughts on this episode. Anyway, my week. So great news. So Tanya got her second vaccine last Wednesday, I want to say.
Yeah.
I got mine last Friday.
Oh, so exciting.
And so we're double vax. Well, I mean, I guess in a couple of weeks we'll be considered double vaxxed.
And we're seeing people.
I mean, things are.
I know the States is like, oh yeah, we've been seeing people for a month.
Yeah.
Or 2 or 3.
They've been licking each other. What else? Oh, so we went up to Horseshoe Valley to Tanya's sisters for a few days to get away and have
so
kind of
nice.
a bit of a vacation. That was fun. We spent a whole day at the beach.
Yeah.
And that was almost normal, and then this week the interview with Alex was so much fun.
So good,
Adrian.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Yeah.
It's up just for our patrons right now. It'll be up on our regular feed next Tuesday.
He's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
Yeah, he's a really good guy, and I sent him a T-shirt.
Adrian, for your reference, no sightings yet.
No sighting.
Oh yeah. I was going to ask the same thing. I'm like, have you ever just crossed paths then?
Oh, that's right, because he's in your hood. I was like, I was wondering, So
maybe he doesn't.
He's kind of a hard guy. He's a hard guy to miss, though. He's so tall.
That's what I think. Now, at least now I know if I see a tall guy, I've got like a 50-50 shot. That's him.
Yeah, and if he's wearing a produce stand T-shirt, then you'll be able to really.
Which color did you send? As a bright
he
one?
chose the light blue with the patch logo, which is a circle and stuff. So that he'll get that in a couple of weeks. So maybe you'll see him walking around in produce stand.
Do we
T-shirt.
have sweatshirts?
Yeah,
I want a sweatshirt.
So that was my week. How about you, Victor?
Yeah, it was a good week. I had some time off. We were given some extra days around this weekend. What was the holiday? Thursday was the holiday, so we were given the Friday off, the Monday and Tuesday off as well. So
nice.
So it was a nice extended time, and so I planned, of course, the typical activities one would plan over their holidays.
Train simulator.
I certainly did that, but no, I had my first vaccine shot.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and my second one is scheduled for August 7th, so won't be long now, and I went to the dentist. So, lots of really fun things.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Bath and Beyond,
I did the exact same thing after my first shot. I'm like, all right, let's do the dentist.
Yeah. So,
did you get a discount?
You don't get a discount at the dentist. You know what? When you're having procedures done on your person, you don't want to get discounts. That's
You're right. You don't want a bargain shop for like laser eye surgery or dental work.
I was just thinking laser eye surgery.
Okay.
Buy one, get one free.
Can I jump in with a really quick story? My wife ever hears me, she will kill me.
Oh.
So we tease her.
Yeah, no one listens. Go ahead.
I know, and she certainly doesn't listen, so it's okay. So 4 years ago, she went and got that microblading done. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is where they basically do like a very low pigment tattoo of your eyebrows to make them, because she has very thin eyebrows. But she got it on Groupon. And we all warned her, like, that doesn't seem like a good idea.
Oh boy.
And it didn't go well. So it's finally faded away. But basically, the person didn't know what the fuck they were doing and basically tattooed her eyebrow. Because it's a tattoo, but it's the Hannah
stuff, isn't it?
It's basically fanned on.
A couple layers. It's not like
exactly.
Deep. Yeah.
It's not deep, but this person clearly went deep. So she basically for the last 3 years until just recently as it faded away, she on one of her eyebrows you can see is like dark blue line like underneath her eyebrow.
Wow.
And we teased her about it the whole time. That's why you don't fucking buy tattoos on Groupon.
Yeah,
that might be why. Why Glenn's LASIK didn't take that Gail got it from on Groupon.
All right, yeah.
Good call.
Well, a good callback. Adrian, how was your week?
It was good. We had our holiday Monday as well.
Oh, that's right. Happy Independence
Monday.
Day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever year this is, I don't know. My wife and I dropped the doggo off at daycare, did a long weekend down in Providence. So basically walked around and drank and napped and walked around. Weather was crappy Saturday, but wasn't too bad. Fortunately, doggo was in Arcona shame and she had that off right before going into daycare. So there's nothing more sad than seeing a very normally like timid, shy dog with a cone on and running into stuff and just kind of like, why am I hitting the wall? What's going on?
So is your dog's name Doggo or you just saying
No, her
Doggo?
name is Abby. We just say Doggo. Yeah.
Okay. Just want to be clear on that. Sorry, continue.
It's not a bad idea though. And then we have, to keep up with the rain, we have a hurricane tropical storm coming up the coast right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Elsa, which that's some Disney princess, I think. Is that Frozen?
Yeah.
It's going to be cold. Just be careful.
Yeah, it is. It's like 14 centigrade right now after being like hitting the 30s a week before. So, yeah, been a little bit of a culture shock.
Yeah.
Temperature shock. Yeah.
Yeah. When they announced the name of the hurricane, the poor weather guy said, "Parents, please, no comments," because he knew right away that
that's a bad name for.
They're going to get so much shit for that.
Oh man. Yeah.
Elsa jerked my head.
Disney's going to sue for sure.
Wow, that shouldn't be allowed.
Who are they going to sue? The Weather Channel?
I don't know. Well, they're going to sue Mother Nature. I don't know.
Has there been an overdub yet? Let it rain.
I'm sure there's going to be many things.
They're gonna sue Milli Vanilli.
Yeah. Before we move on, I just want to acknowledge one of the members of our Twitter DM group. He just lost his puppers. He goes by the name Logic Bomb in our DM group, and his puppers Peyton passed away. So we wanted to just say we're thinking of him and we're sorry to hear it. And
beautiful dog.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. Yeah, he posted a picture of Peyton, beautiful dog. So beautiful Logic Bomb.
Yep.
Our condolences and we're sorry for your loss.
Yeah, all the best, buddy. Sure. We cracked the puppers here for you.
Yeah.
Yep. Cheers.
Yeah, and now that we've cheers, I think I feel like a coffee. Tanya, do you feel like a coffee?
Yes.
Victor, do you want a coffee?
I'd have a coffee.
Matt, would you like a coffee?
I'm surprised we're not having coffee right now.
Okay, great, because I'm stoked to have back for another season Diabolical Coffee. Devilishly good coffee and diabolically awesome swag. If you're a coffee lover, regardless of your taste or preference. Oh, and Matt is modeling. That's a beautiful shirt. Oh, that's nice. That's the new logo. I haven't. Nice. I got to order mine.
I got the badass collaboration.
Yeah,
shirt
that's beautiful. where was? Oh yeah, your coffee lover, regardless of your taste or preference. They have an option for you: whole bean, coarse, and standard grind, espresso. They even have a K-cup option. And now for the entirety of season 7, you can use a promo code PRODUCESTAND for 10% off any coffee or merch purchase at diabolicalcoffee.com. So please support us by supporting them. Thank you, Diabolical Coffee and Eric, for your support this season. And speaking of support, we have 16 new Twitter followers. So welcome to Judy Rundle. It Goes Down in the PM. Eric Mowry from Lakewood, Ohio. Stitch B from Gardner, North Carolina. The Amazing Jordini from Texas. Steve. Yukon Dude from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Gareth Ryan from Australia. Just This Guy. All 80s Movies Podcast, 5G Skeleton from Columbus, Ohio, Forcible Corn, Bacon is Good for You, Everything is Dawsome from Fawn Grove, Pennsylvania, Pam Picha, and Diane Francis from Toronto. Thank you all for following and hopefully for listening.
Forcible Corn.
Where the hell is it? Oh,
Hit the how embarrassing
There we
one.
go.
Previously on Letterkenny.
Last week, you guys talked over my new soundbite. Listen, new soundbite.
Previously on Letterkenny.
Last week, we had our season 6 Ag Hall Social, where we had a great turnout and a lot of fun with our listeners. And this week, we recap and review the first episode of season 7, Crack an Ag. Matt, have you done your homework?
I did.
Tanya, have you done your homework?
I did.
I've done my homework. Victor, did you get your homework done?
JIT.
Just under the wire. And Adrian, have you done your homework?
Definitely.
All right.
Well, don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
We begin with the cold open, which basically we begin with previously on Letterkenny montage, which is just a montage of every single fart from every episode dating back to season 1. And then we get the on-screen text about the 5,000 people in Letterkenny, and we cut to the theme. So this is
shortest cold open ever.
And stinkiest too. So
the interesting thing with the cold open is on Hulu, it starts with, this is a series for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. And then it just goes into like the 2 minutes of farts as well.
Oh, really? Interesting.
We didn't give a disclaimer.
I also believe this season 7, episode 1 is when they dropped on Hulu. So I feel like it's just kind of Kiso and the guys going, hey, look at the nice Canadian humor. And you're just going to watch all of our farts, which to me looked like they might have been in chronological order, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty
they were
comprehensive list of all the farts, and they may have been in chrono. It was a little weird because the order of everything was different. Like the whole 5,000 people in Letterkenny text usually comes up first, and then you get the cold open, and then you get the theme. This time we got the stinky open, the text, and then the theme. So it was a little weird, a little out of sync. Tanya, what did you think?
Matt hasn't given his first.
Oh, that's right, Matt. What did you think?
See, just like we're out of chronological order here.
I'm all messed up.
I'm trying to keep it in order.
I'm not gonna lie, I loved it. It was so simple and
right down your alley, right? But Mr. I love fart jokes, but then you give every fart-based episode a compost. So.
Well, no,
true.
Base joke, because it wasn't even about farts. That was just ridiculous. I can appreciate it. They did this well. They took the part. They brought it into a moment, and they made me like I was giggling like an idiot through that whole opening, and like one after another. Like that's the kind of fart joke I want. And it wasn't long. They let it go at the end of that.
Literally, and
they moved on. Yeah, they let it go. They moved on. So. I thought it was great. It made me laugh. I got to know what happened in the previous season. All those memories came back. And I was up to date again because it's been a few weeks since we've watched the show, and we kicked off season 7 in a very gaseous way,
triumphant manner.
Triumphant manner.
They let it go, but they didn't soil the open for you. Okay,
let it go.
Ooh.
Let it go.
Tan, what did you think?
I didn't get what was going on. I'm like, I'm not embarrassed to say it. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, okay, previously on Letterkenny, and then they did the 5,000 people, and I'm like, what just happened? Is that the cold open, or is that previously? So I didn't get that it was a cold open. It went so fast, and then there was all the fart book stuff too. A lot of clips from fart book, and then I'm like, okay, this is going to be an episode about recapping on farts, and then that didn't happen. So I was not so impressed.
Confused. Okay. I'll agree with you. I mean, it was a strange, again, it was all very strange open. The everything was out of order, and it wasn't a cold open. It was just a previous, it was, lots of shows do this especially when they're starting a new season, they'll do previously on whatever, but that's usually to remind you what happened at the end of last season. And that didn't happen. All they did was remind you how vile the fart episodes were. And so, yeah, I mean, I wasn't too impressed with this cold open.
If I can quickly add to sort of what you were saying, I did get a little confused. I missed the part where they said previously on, and then I heard some farting. So I'm like, am I on the wrong episode? So I actually stopped the whole show, rewound, and then it got all glitchy on me.
Oh, no.
So then I had to back out of it, restart the episode. I'm like, oh, that was the beginning. So and then I laughed more because it created this confusion, which I actually enjoyed. So it actually added to my experience.
Okay, Victor's been shaking.
So Fartbook broke her computer.
Yeah, Victor's going to get whiplash from all the head shaking he's giving. What did you think here?
Well, first I knew Matt was going to enjoy it, but I wasn't ready for the twist that he actually amused himself with his own flatulence. Mm-hmm. But no, I thought the whole thing was quite ridiculous. Mm-hmm. The problem is both Linda and I sat down with our bowls. She had a bowl of popcorn and I had a bowl of pasta, and
because you bring pasta with the bowl.
As you snack on pasta, snacks on pasta.
Eliza right now would be like, don't judge with her she and her dehydrated
macaroni.
Mashed potatoes.
Snacking. Have you noticed that? It was macaroni first, and it was dehydrated potatoes.
That's right. So halfway through what you guys are saying was quick. For us, it felt like it lasted a lifetime. She said, "I don't know that I can make it through this cold open," and I said, "Just patience."
So this cold. Go ahead.
I don't think it was a very good cold open. It was more kind of we are gonna we didn't really have time to write a cold open. So edit guy, can you please slap something together? Mm-hmm. But as we'll talk about this episode towards the end, this was this segment. Mm-hmm. The fact that it was all out of sorts felt right with the entire episode. So,
right. Okay.
We won't say any more about that. But yeah, I wasn't laughing as much as Matt was.
So this cold open was a shark for you. Okay. Adrian, what did you think?
It grew with age with me a little bit. I think having the Hulu open and assuming that. I mean, I'm sure Awesome is yelling at our podcast right now if I'm screwing this up. But assuming it's how they launched as a Hulu original series and then just launching into here are all the farts from the previous 6 seasons, I appreciated, what Kiso and were trying to do with that.
I thought season 4 was when they launched on Hulu. You know what? Awesome right now is really yelling at, and
we're probably both wrong.
Yeah, threatening our lives.
Maybe this is when it went into syndication.
I don't know. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
I enjoyed also how they kept some of the little snippets in there. So going through Fart Book and going, those are cat farts, and Glenn with his Valencia, and Katie's little line with that wasn't very well brought up. Too bad you weren't. Or that was well brought up. Too bad you weren't. I guess in my head I was seeing the context that was fitting in with the other episodes. So I was probably appreciating more than the first time of just sitting through and it's a minute and 45 seconds of or whatever it was every fart that we ever saw.
Have we ever in any show ever seen a fart montage? Just saying.
The South Park movie.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, way to call my bluff on that.
Letterkenny debuted on July 13th, 2018 on Hulu.
Yeah, but I don't know what season that was though. So
seasons were
2018.
added.
It might have been maybe it was 7. I don't know. Anyway, yes, right now there's a very angry Awesome yelling at us right now from her car.
Per usual.
Yeah, exactly.
So Matt, as you were watching the montage, were you forcibly trying to stop yourself from laughing at the fart book scenes?
It didn't even, it happened so fast. My brain couldn't pick where they were coming from. It was just
Victor. It was just a brown streak. It was just a brown streak.
It was a symphony of gaseous fun.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here we go. Coming out of the theme, the Hicks are in the kitchen. Katie mentions that Glenn came by the produce stand looking for some azaleas.
I got a friend Kayla sells azaleas. Westphalia azaleas.
Could you mail you an azalea?
Well, I told them that azaleas grow wild down by the river on the azalea banks.
You could always go down the side road and get them on the honor system at the end of the laneway at the Menonapper's house.
Yeah, there's a Dutch napper Iggy. He's got them.
Oh, that's right. Iggy azaleas.
Yep, used to have a shop in St. Jacobs, too. Named it after his son, Brandon's.
That's right. Brandon Flowers.
So, production note here. I mean, everyone should probably know Iggy Azalea. She's an Australian rapper. Azalea Banks, an American rapper, and Brandon Flowers. He's the lead singer of the band The Killers. So there's a bunch of references there in case you didn't notice them. Derry asks why Glenn wanted the flowers. Katie says that he has a part-time gig managing the Letterkenny cable access TV studio and wanted to do some decorating. So Derry wonders if anyone even uses a station anymore.
I seem to remember a dude named Jono had himself some visions.
So that was just a quick reference to the show Jono Vision. So to anyone who isn't Canadian, and actually to many Canadians probably might not know it either, Jono Vision was a talk show that aired on CBC from 96 to 2001. Can't believe it lasted that long.
I love that show.
Yeah, and it was hosted by none other than Jonathan Torrens, who's the same actor who plays Noah Dick. So there you go. That's
when I was watching that show, I was thinking to myself, this guy is going to be big time one day.
Yeah,
I just thought he was so talented. Well, yeah, I love.
Oh, he's very talented. Well, the thing with Jonathan Torrens, I think I said this on Dean's podcast, but it's true. Since Street Sense, he's been on Canadian television steadily for 30 freaking years, and that's impossible. No other Canadian celebrity or actor or whatever can say that. It was Street Sense, Jono Vision, Trailer Park Boys, Letterkenny. I think isn't he on Mr. D too or something like that?
He makes a whole bunch of like cameos on things.
He's on everything, and he's been steadily working. So obviously the man's talented. Yeah. So back to the scene here. Just then, Wayne walks in from choring. He's in a foul mood because his choring went long, causing him to be late for fucking steak night. Katie suggests that Wayne nuke his steak to reheat it, which draws the ire of both Squirrely Dan and Derry. Squirrely Dan remarks that Gordon Ramsay would fucking spit. They all agree that Ramsay's a really good guy, including Wayne. But Wayne adds he's also a hair guy.
What's a hair guy?
Oh, a guy with hair, likely.
A guy who spends too much time on his hair.
Oh, yeah. Ramsay's a hair guy.
Look, Ramsay cooks a great steak, great quill, stews and what have you. It's like you want to like him and everything, but every time you look at him, all you can think about is him Biebering into the mirror, fucking with his hair to make it stand up like that. He'd be like, "This is fucking rotten!" Pull your finger out your ass.
You say the food's great. People love it. I am shitting myself, you fucking twat!
No, I am not here to tell you not to put raw onions in the fucking French onion soup, you fucking useless villain!
Katie thinks that choosing a hairstyle is complicated.
No, it isn't.
It isn't.
You get it wet, then you let it dry.
Such a Wayne answer. Wayne apologizes for being late for supper. He's annoyed because every farmer is calling him up for advice on his help on this or that. McMurray, for example, calls him not once, not twice, but thrice a day. And even though McMurray's a piece of shit, when a friend asks for help, you help him. That gives Squirrely Dan an idea. He tells Wayne about Glenn looking for flowers to decorate the cable access TV studios. Squirrely Dan suggests that Glenn should start an agricultural consulting show. He can devote an hour a week taking calls and helping people out with their problems, and that'll give him the rest of the week to do his own chorin. Derry says they could help him out too. Katie wonders how they'd get the word out. Obviously, they'd put it on their fucking Facebook, and Wayne likes the idea, so he agrees to do it. Scene 2. The Hicks are at the cable access TV station getting ready for their first show. McMurray's also there. The Hicks are making fun of McMurray's tight t-shirt.
I am as God made me.
Yeah, your shirt's too small is all I'm saying.
Presently. So, I heard you're starting your own agricultural consultant show because apparently I call yous too much.
Did you say that?
Add some smirk emojis.
Well, I'll have yous know that I, McMurray, am the most resilient farmer inside of 2 townships, and I'm going to prove it by starting my own call-in show.
Well, time's a bit tight here, so maybe you just do it after ours.
I was already gonna.
Enter Glenn, who makes a remark about the set not exactly looking like the Deanie Petty Show, another reference to a long-running daytime Canadian talk show that ran from 89 to 99. Squirrely Dan says, well, at least it beats the Frank D'Angelo show. So I want to stop here, and I want to ask you guys, does anybody here know who Frank D'Angelo is?
He's the goalie.
Well, he's many things, but does anyone actually know the story of Frank D'Angelo?
No.
Okay.
I do not.
So Frank D'Angelo is an interesting guy. He was born in Toronto to an Italian immigrant parents. He became an entrepreneur and founded a very successful business with beverages and canned foods. D'Angelo apple juice was one of the big items he sold. So yeah, he did that commercial where he's a goalie for D'Angelo apple juice, right? So this guy also he founded a brewery in the Steelback Brewery in Hamilton. Like, this guy's a very successful businessman. But despite all of his business success, he really wanted to be in entertainment. And so what he did was he basically started his own production company, and he's produced, written, and directed and acted in his own movies. And then he also hosts his own talk show called Being Frank. He's also produced 15 musical albums where he's like the singer. So basically this guy does everything. And it's also one of these things where people are kind of afraid of him, so they don't really make fun of him. Like, he does his thing. For his movies, he stars in them, but he hires like brand name actors because he's got the money to do it. It's crazy. Like, look up his IMDb profile. He's got like a dozen movies that he's made with him in them, and then with all like these B-list Hollywood actors or whatever. But still, it's incredible. So yeah, he's an interesting character. So. And he's got this talk show called Being Frank, which is what they're referring to, Frank D'Angelo show. So back to the episode. Katie, once again, brings up Jonavision, but says nothing can beat that show. And then Glenn tries to take back control of the production.
Wayne, you are looking cuter than a little beaver pup today.
Beaver pups called kits.
McMurray, why don't you go back to the green room so I can let Wayne here get processed through hair and makeup?
Pass.
I'll just take little bits of rouge to add some contours to my cheekbones.
And wardrobe.
I'm already in it.
But your friend Derry showed up in his barn clothes.
And God made me.
McMurray goes off to the green room, but before he leaves, he invites the Hicks to hang out after their show to see how a real pro does a call-in show. Glenn wonders out loud how complicated a call-in show could be. Wayne says it isn't complicated at all. People call in with their questions, and then you answer them. Wayne asks Katie for help screening the callers for nutsacks. McMurray takes the opportunity to make fun of Wayne for not respecting his audience and screening his calls. In the control room, Katie is joined by Stuart and Rold. They saw it on Facebook that they were doing the agricultural call-in show and they wanted to help. They suggested Hickelodian as a title for the show. Wayne quickly rejects that. Katie gets busy taking calls, adding them to the queue. The skids are hanging around, arguing over what kind of music they should use for their theme and annoying Katie. And Glenn is still trying to manage.
Wayne, the camera hates plaid.
Okay.
Also adds 10 pounds. Aren't you sassy, Miss Camera? She's a bit of a cow.
Can we smoke in here?
No. Okay, I've got a shirtless Mr. McMurray in the green room who has agreed, very generously, to let you wear his Mr. Clean Style white t-shirt. Now, may I also recommend that you try on this Mr. Clean Style gold hoop earring.
5 minutes.
Oh, God. Oh, none of this is going to work. We don't have time for any of it. Okay, I need to go take some stills of Mr. McMurray. I say still, but it may move. McMurray!
Did anyone catch there that he took a picture of his own? Okay.
It may move.
Yeah.
Preparations for the show continue. The energy in the studio gets amped up as they count down to air. The Hicks just sit there quietly as chaos happens around them. The skids are screaming music selection to each other in the booth. Katie's still taking calls. Glenn's running around barking orders. And McMurray, for some reason, is stripped down to his tiger briefs looking for his shirt. It's finally time to go on the air. Glenn counts it down and then throws it to the Hicks, who just continue to sit there quietly. Then Glenn motions them to begin.
You all right?
Likely means we can go.
All right. Right on. All the shows called Crack and Ag. And Ag, spelled A-G. Yeah, like agriculture. And that's what we decided to call the show. So we decided to call the call-in show. So
These can call in with your questions, and we will help you if we can.
But before we get started, I just want to thank my sister Katie here. She's in this booth in the back there, and she's going to take your calls. She's going to help us take your calls so we can help you. So.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank a few people as well.
We're going to do the rest of the thank yous at the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll probably thank a bunch of people at the end of the show. But
we would just be thanking people
for now. We'll get
all show.
Rolling.
For some strange reason, Glenn seems bewildered at the Hicks' lack of, anything to start their show off. He quickly shakes it off and signals at the Hicks to take a call. Wayne doesn't understand Glenn's signal, so he turns to Katie, who interrupts on the intercom and suggests that they take a call. Just then, Squirrely Dan's cell phone rings. This sets Glenn off, and he yells at them to turn off their fudging phones. Then Katie finally takes charge.
We have Brett Nickel on the line.
Is he really?
Really?
Well, can he hear us?
I can hear you.
Right on. Bretsky.
You don't need to yell. He can hear you just fine.
Right on.
You still there?
Yep.
Right on.
Bretsky.
How are you now?
Oh, good and you?
Not too bad.
Right on. Hey, did I hear you're coaching this year? Or?
That's the plan.
Where's Baker playing?
Looking like Ripley.
Oh.
Hey, Ripley's after him, isn't he?
I hear they loaded up.
Yeah.
Is Teddy heading back up north, or?
No, he'll be in Guelph. Brianna's there, so.
Brianna's been there for a couple
years. That's right. That's cool.
What's Mac doing?
Matt's rapping now.
Is he really?
Yep.
Hold on. Bretsky, the show's called Crack and Egg, and I bet you can't, so.
Thanks.
You bet.
How can we help you?
Well, chainsaws aren't going through shit.
How big?
Guide bar?
No, your horn.
Yeah, guide bar's 18-inch.
Oh, slow guy then.
Yeah.
Well, how long you had it?
2 seasons.
Where are you taking it to get sharpened?
I sharpened it myself.
Would you never take it in for that?
No.
Oh, I don't know. I might take it in for a new chain altogether.
If he takes it in, you should bring your axe too, because they'll sharpen that up for $10.
Yeah, $9-10.
Yeah, 9 plus tax, about $10.
That's how they get you on the sign and say $9.
Oh yeah.
And then that's how you get you coming. $9 better than $10.
Coming and going. I don't like change, so just $10.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't cut that clip. I know it's long, but I had to get that last bit in there.
So I did a little Twitter stalking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody knows this for sure, other than awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Brett Nickel might be somebody that Jared played hockey with. So there's a Brett Nickel on Twitter that is from Letterkenny, Ontario.
Oh,
and he shared a bunch of stuff. A bunch of retweets from the Listowel Cyclones, which is our junior B team.
That makes sense.
So I'm guessing Kiso's just name dropping former friend or probably current friends and players.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I looked up Brett Nickel too, and I did see a junior player or whatever, so it might have been the same guy, but I didn't look too much further into that. So the first call mercifully ends, and Glenn begs for the next caller. Katie announces the next caller is Matt Merkley, and Wayne acts just as surprised to hear that what he wants, that he was the first, or that he was on the line, and that call continues in the same manner. Cut to later in the day. It's now McMurray's turn to host his show. He's sitting in his chair warming up with his exercises. Tip of the dong, the teats, the tats. So a little bit different than Riley and Jonesy's vocal exercise. When he's finally ready, he demands his first caller.
Patch him in, preacher!
Okay.
Welcome, caller. You've joined an agri-cult.
Hey, first time, long time over here.
Well, that's just not possible, but okay.
Hey, McMurray, you still farming chickens, eh?
Oh, chicken breed by day, chicken dance by night.
Let me ask you, you ever fucked Mrs. McMurray in the chicken coop? Huh? Because I'll tell you, that's the first place I'd be fucking your wife.
Oh, my Lord.
I will slap the yellow off of your teeth and your belly, you some bitch. Hang up, preacher. Next caller.
I love the show, McMurray. It's really pulled me out of some dark places along the way.
What?
Well, you've joined an agri-cult.
Yeah, I got a question about husbandry.
You've come to the right place. We raise animals for meat, milk, eggs.
No. I meant you as a husband. Why the fuck would Mrs. McMurray marry a piece of shit like you? She's an 11 out of 10, but that decision downgrades her to an even dime.
Fuck you. I will find out where you are, you sumbitch. Hang up, preacher. Next caller.
The calls get progressively crude, and McMurray gets progressively enraged and finally loses it on air, knocking over his chair and swearing up a storm. Scene 3, back at oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say he got his hands all over Iggy Azaleas.
Oh, yes, that's right. Poor Glenn's like, not the flowers. Scene 3, back at the farm, the Hicks, McMurray, Ronnie, and Jonesy, and the Skids are sitting around a large bonfire. McMurray's still yelling profanities due to the call-in show. Wayne admits that he's kind of looking forward to his next show. He had a good time. Derry and Squirrely Dan agree. Stuart once again tries to convince Wayne to add some music to the show. Wayne says they're sorted. McMurray yells at them to shut the fuck up. Derry asks Wayne if he's enjoying his engagement party. Wayne says it looks more like a stump burn to him. Squirrely Dan says they're all there to celebrate his engagement. Wayne says he's there because he's got a big fuck off stump to burn. Riley takes this opportunity to interject.
Well, seeing as marriage is complicated.
No, it isn't.
It isn't.
You decide you're going to spend the rest of your life with someone, and then you do it.
Well, what I think he's trying to say is you can only smash one woman for the rest of your life.
Hence the decision to make her his wife.
For life. It's a super important concern, bro.
Thanks, bro.
But my question was more along the lines of, could we not try and smash babes that you've already smashed? Because, I mean, we know the code, bro.
He's not your bro.
Oh, yeah, if you don't know talk code, we know it, boys.
Yeah, name one person who knows the code better than us. Yeah, go ahead, I'll wait.
Why don't you say code again, bud?
More like Pearl Jam's no code.
Oh, boy.
What's bro code?
The bro code is you never smash your bro's girlfriend.
Or ex-girlfriend. That's only bro code-ish.
And I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't make any sense.
Don't make any sense. Riley and Jonesy continue to say that seeing as Wayne is hanging out his skates up permanently, they were wondering if they could smash Wayne's exes. This is when we hear Stuart admitting he'd smash Tanis after Wayne says he wouldn't have a chance with Tanis. Roald interjects saying Wayne hasn't seen Stuart's dick, and Stuart responds by saying neither of you. Either way, Wayne says it's up to Tanis, Angie, or Rosie. Just then, Gail joins the party. She overhears the conversation. She says that just because you're married doesn't mean you can't smash a whole bunch of people. This gets an agreement from McMurray. Katie and Marie Fred also joined the party.
Hell of an engagement party. Merci.
More like a stump burn to me.
Big brother, we're all here for your engagement.
Well, I'm here because we got a
big fuck off stump burn on Lisa.
Oh, yeah? You like puppers?
Yeah, I like puppers.
You like Gus and Brew?
I like Gus and Brew.
Well, let's raise a glass to Marie, Fred, and Wayne settling down, as they say.
Drop an anchor.
Without a doubt in it.
It's a lifeboat suction, buddy. Bending over backwards, boys.
Ignoring statistics.
Coming to what? You must consummate the marriage.
Here, here.
Oh no! Am I late for the engagement party?
It's a stump burn.
You must consummate the marriage.
Yeah, we covered that.
Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Let's get fucking hammered.
Everyone salutes the engaged couple, and then Squirrely Dan brings out a gas can.
I brought a little bit of aviation fuel for the occasion.
Oh! You throw some aviation fuel on the cocksucker?
Fucking, I'm surprised you're not putting aviation fuel on the cocksucker right now.
Let's get fucking reckless, boys.
Let's put gasoline on a fire.
You know that was mine.
And we fade to black. And that's
so good.
That's when I turned to Tanya, and she's got the funniest look on her face. So anyway, can't wait to hear her views on this. But first, we're going to remind you guys that the Victor's MVP game is still on. So
Got it.
Forgot about that.
It's in the bag tonight.
Tanya's already written her guess down.
Stop playing and let you guys play.
So write your guesses down, Matt. Don't be a poopy pants. And Matt, why don't you give us your first impressions, no ratings, on this episode?
Yeah, I liked it. It was fun. So I mean, like I said, I laughed my ass off at the opening. I know it was ridiculous. I'll admit that, but it made me laugh. And if it makes me laugh, it's still a win in my heart. So that's okay. There was a lot of good scenes. I'd say the first little chunk I didn't love. Like it was fine, but nothing really got me excited. But when they got into Crack an Egg. I loved it. I loved everything from the moment they stepped inside the studio through to the fire scene at the end. Because I mean, I think I may have mentioned this before, but I've got a bit of a background in television. Not that I went that way in a career, but I went to school for that. So I've been on set on things, and it just made me laugh how out of touch they were with anything related to the television production style. Like nothing was like, it's like, they're like, this is the easiest thing in the world. We'll sit down, we'll take calls, and we're good to go. Yeah. So just the constant little bumps that they were going, anything from like Glenn waving at them to get them started. Like, oh, hey, you want something? Like, is that for me? Like they had no idea what was going on, and no one prepped them at all. And they didn't care either. And I loved that. And it made me laugh so hard. It was the most awkward scene in that whole run there. And it just, that I love awkward comedy. And I think they did it really well in this one. So that was a real highlight for me, watching that all play out. A couple things though. So Glenn, what the hell was he doing leading this production site? Did that, like, I loved it. I thought
he just had it was another part-time job that he had.
Okay.
That's one of his million jobs.
Gotcha. Okay. So I didn't understand that.
Yeah. That was explained in the kitchen at the beginning. Katie says, oh, Glenn's got a part-time job managing the local cable access. That's why he's looking for flowers.
That flew by me. Another question. Did they already have the name going in and just didn't tell anyone? Because they were spitting out names like Nickelodeon, and I think there was another one. But then as soon as the show started, like, the show's called Crack an Egg. Like,
no, yeah. So the other
clearly knew what they were doing, but they didn't reveal it to anybody until the show started, which made me laugh as well.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
What did they put on Facebook? Like, I would have thought they would put that. So that I mean, these are just random questions.
Yeah.
And then the other one, and I'm like, was it a joke or was it played off? So all the calls that McMurray got, which were amazing, were they all Wayne playing, pretending, or were they supposed to be other characters from the town all fucking with McMurray?
Yeah, I took it that they were other characters in the town, but a few of them were voiced by Kiesel, if not all of them.
Well, they were all voiced by Kiesel.
Were they all? Yeah, I know the first one for sure was voiced by Kiesel.
One of them was Riley or Joe.
Well, one of them sounded
the first
like
couple seemed a little off.
Yeah. But still, to me, I don't think that's in Wayne's character. So I think that's my
point. I'm like, it didn't feel in his character, but I thought they were all Kiso.
No, well, yeah, it was probably all Kiso, but I think it was meant to be other townspeople fucking with McMurray. Right.
Yeah,
that's the way I took it anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
And I don't think they explained it, so I don't think there's a right answer. But just if you want to keep with Wayne's character, I can't see him being that way.
No, and that's what really tripped me. I mean, I still loved it, but that's why I'm like, it could be interpreted one way or the other. And it definitely confused me for a second because I kept hearing Kiso in all the voices. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I thought it was supposed to be Shorzy.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Shorzy would have been more like he would have just been Shorzy.
Jesus, Tanya, spoilers.
I kind of thought the first one was Shorzy, the second one was Riley or Jonesy.
So the first one it sounded a lot like Shorzy because it was Kiso.
Right.
The second one did sound like somebody doing an impression of Riley.
Right.
But it wasn't. It wasn't Riley. I think it might have been Kiso doing an impression of Riley or something. But yeah, were those all yours?
Yeah, that's my thoughts.
Okay. So Tanya, so you guys know that Tanya tries her best to hide her impression of an episode when we watch it together. Yesterday was the first time I heard her laugh out loud during something, but also at the end of it, she looked perplexed and looked like she really, really wanted to talk about it.
I really did.
But couldn't. So now's your chance. What did you think of this episode?
What the hell? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell? And I'm like, what?
It's like she was holding in a fart this whole time.
What is going on? I don't understand the whole. Oh my gosh, the whole thing. I'm like, okay, so this has not. Okay, so the cold open, it has nothing to do with previously on, and it's just all fart stuff. And then we're not talking about farts anymore. We're talking about the A call. Okay, so then we're in the A call, and I love Glenn. Glenn, always hands down, love that man. He is hilarious. I loved snippets through there. But then we just like all of a sudden just like shifted over to an engagement party, and I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, there was never a like the whole previously on Letterkenny should have been about the fucking engagement flashback. And I'm like, okay, so I'm sorry, we're at an engagement party now? And I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, that just kind of threw me off. And when Riley and Jonesy were having the conversation about trying to get with Wayne's exes, like it was going over my head because I was like, what am I watching? And when did this become an engagement party? And I was like, so focused on the engagement party and how
you got to stop focusing on
the
these
show
things.
had nothing to do with the engagement party leading up to it. And then there's just a party. Like usually they talk about what they're going to do that night. Like if it's a super soft, if they're going to Modine's, if there's like a party happening or the bush party or whatever, they always are in the kitchen talking about the event. An engagement party is an event, and they were not talking about it. So it was like, I was very confused, and
it was a stumper.
I see what you did there. But you see from the stump burn that Wayne didn't want to make a big deal out of it, right? It's just, to him, it was just a stump burn. So it was more the rest wanted to celebrate it for him.
They ended the show with him in the ring in the back pocket and him like taking his sister, getting a loan, going and getting the ring. It was a big deal. It's not like Wayne didn't think it was a big deal, because it was. We were led to believe this is a big deal.
You're right. And look, Letterkenny doesn't come back from cliffhangers the way most shows do. Like they bury the lead. It's almost like they close the loop at the end of the first episode of the next season. It feels like that's always how they do it. Think back to when he got knocked out by Tyson. His payback to Tyson happened at the end of that episode where he headbutts Tyson. Think back to, well, the only time where things get wrapped up right away in the first act was when they have that fight on the res in the bar, and Tanis tells him that she took care of the baby. Other than that, they usually wait. Like the first episode of the next season is to set up the rest of the season, and not about wrapping up what that cliffhanger was. It seems to be their style. Did you have any other?
No, I was confused.
Yeah.
I was just like,
also like Wayne not making a big deal of it is very much in Wayne. Like he it's not about him. It's about others. If others ask for help, you help them. Very community, like him in the election episode. His point was, well, you go out and just like mow people's lawn instead of like doing, McMurray's a piece of shit ads.
Right.
I don't think it's in his character to have an engagement party and look at me. Like he would rather hang out with his friends and burn a stump.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, look, I don't disagree with you. It was a very weird, it was a strange episode.
Did somebody else write this one?
You know what? I didn't even see who wrote this one. Who wrote it? Who wrote it?
This was one of Trevor Risk's episode.
Oh,
so he also did
like,
We Don't Fight at Weddings, Different Strokes, and Valentine's.
Yeah. So Trevor Risk is responsible for one of our least favorite episodes on our podcast, which is Different Strokes. It's I think the lowest rated episode, but also responsible for We Don't Fight at Weddings and Valentine's, which were two of the better ones as well. So yeah, so that might account for the
I still say Different Strokes was brilliant in its own way.
Victor disagrees. So this one was a very strange episode tonally, and maybe not tonally, actually. I think it was just kind of weird how, I agree with you, Tanya, it jerked around. Like we start in the kitchen. That part they set up, no problem. They set up the reason for the talk, the cable access show, and then they go into the cable access show. But after that cable access show, going to that bonfire scene did seem kind of weird.
It felt like two different shows.
It did.
And they just mushed them into.
And let me tell you, that day that they shot that stump burn must have been so, like, they must have been desperate.
They're cold
because it looked like they were freezing, and it didn't look like a great day. It looks like if they could have probably rescheduled that shoot, they might have. But anyway, although it is the perfect kind of weather to have a stump burn. I'm going to agree with Matt though. The writing and acting in Crack and Ag was so good. I know that like joke wise, it wasn't fun. It didn't have a lot of funny jokes.
No.
But it was a funny situation. I just love how it's a show. So there needs to be a little bit more projection, a little bit more energy, a little bit more pizzazz, because it's a show. But instead, they're treating the callers like they just walked up to them at the produce stand.
Yeah.
And the way they talk to the caller and to each other, it's like they're having this chat that like there's no audience around, which is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so brilliantly done. So that part there I thought was written really, really well. And
Is it really now?
yeah, and acted really, really well. I thought they did a lot of really good, like a lot of the stuff was under their breath. And my favorite part is when they talk about, oh yeah, $10. Yeah, that's how they get you. Like they put $9 plus tax on the sign, but like that whole thing.
10,
I've heard that conversation happening in my hometown like a billion times. It was so brilliantly written and acted. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So the burn that like the engagement party after was kind of weird tonally, but you know, par for the course. I think Adrian's right. Not out of character for Wayne. And very in character for Riley and Jonesy to not even care about the engagement. All they care about is whether they're going to be able to try to smash Angie and Rosie. So I like that part. It was fine. Victor, what do you think?
I'd like to see them try to smash Tanis because that could be that end would be hilarious.
Well, if you think about that, I mean, Stuart must be a glutton for punishment because I'm pretty sure the last time he and Tanis had any exchange was when
the end of season 1,
when she tore a strip, like destroyed him verbally in that scene, and that made him hot and bothered for her. So, Victor, what do you think?
I think Trevor went on a stupor the night before he wrote that episode.
So a little background on Trevor Risk. He is a DJ. So I think he probably put a lot of effort and work and pride in the skids exchange, which I didn't even clip any of those clips because most of that shit went over my head.
Yeah. If you segment first, I mean, there's absolutely no continuity or flow to the episode. I think that, and that's not necessarily the fault of the writing. It's the way that it was edited. Like it just, I don't feel that there's a lot of stuff that gets cut. I think there's probably they may have done more filming than what we saw, and they chose to edit it in a way. And the reason I say that is just because of the abrupt jumps from one scene to the next. One of the most abrupt ones that felt like even more weird than going to the bonfire at the end from the studio was going from the Hicks to McMurray.
Oh, to his show. There was a bit of a show.
That was completely just wait, what just happened? Oh, is he on their show? Oh no, that's okay. That's his show. And so for me, I know you call out that segment as probably the highlight of the episode, and absolutely it is. And just like Matt, I went to college for this stuff. I lived and breathed that, right? So because the first time we went to do that stuff, nobody knew what the hell anybody was doing.
Right.
The boom mic was too low, or the lights were causing the wrong shadows. People were getting the wrong cues.
Yeah.
You bring in actors who didn't know what the hell they were doing, and they're supposed to do exactly what you're thinking, and they're not doing it, and you're getting frustrated. So like all of that stuff, it just felt so connected, and it was brilliant. I loved it. It was so awkwardly awesome. But and you guys talked about it, when they switched to the McMurray piece, I did not like it at all. And the reason I didn't like it is exactly for the reasons you called out. It is totally not in Wayne's character to be that way.
Right.
And that very first caller, that voice was almost exactly like Wayne. Almost exactly like Wayne. And I'm thinking, wait a second. And because of that, it's just you stop enjoying the show, and it breaks the flow where you're thinking, wait, is that Wayne pranking him?
Yeah.
Wayne wouldn't do that. Yeah. And the other, it was so crude. It was just so crude. Like, it wasn't funny. It was it's funny when Shorzy's doing, because you right, it's Shorzy. That's his character, and that's just what it is. But here, like, wait, is this Wayne or is this somebody else? And who is it? And why are they being so mean to?
Okay. So, but I don't think it was meant to be Wayne. So yeah, the fault of the producers. They maybe could have gotten different voices to make the calls.
No, but you're giving me your opinion. Like, you don't know that.
No, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, but besides that, I think the reason it was so crude though was to make it funnier. The fact that McMurray laughed at Wayne for not pre-screening his callers.
Listen, I get that.
Okay.
I get that 100%.
All right, so that's why it was crude, though.
But that's my point. But that's so the fact that they had that conversation.
So passionate.
I know.
The fact that they had that conversation with Wayne.
Yeah.
And the people in that studio. Nobody outside that studio was part of that. So just the coincidence that there's such pieces of shit out there that they were just ready and queuing up to just call. And
they're not pieces of shit. McMurray's the piece of shit, and everyone wanted to crack at McMurray.
Yeah, the whole town thinks McMurray's a piece of shit.
Yeah, the whole town.
Yeah, no. But when you bring yourself down to their level, then you're a piece of shit too. all I'm saying, I didn't like it. It was too crude. I felt bad for McMurray. I didn't like it. But the thing that I didn't like more was I was wondering, is it because there's somebody in the studio, whether it was Wayne, well, it has to be Wayne, that, I'm going to show that McMurray, he's not pre-screening his calls. And because the voice was so much like Wayne, I felt like, wait, that does not make sense to me. Wayne wouldn't do that, but he's the one in the studio that saw McMurray being all, I don't need to pre-screen my calls.
Yeah.
So, that's my issue with that whole piece.
I don't believe it was Wayne, but okay. I mean,
but anyway, and then they finished with the whole feel good thing with the bonfire. I didn't have any issue like Tanya did about that they didn't make a big deal about the engagement or this. My bigger issue was that what the hell is with the editing here? There's no continuity.
Yeah.
There isn't like a thread that connects the scenes together.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, it's almost like a special episode with these vignettes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
some good parts, but
I think Tanya, the mama bear, came out too when the gas can came out. She was like, "What's going on with the gas can?" Yeah.
I'm like,
Adrian, what are your first impressions?
It was an honor to witness a Victor rant and rave right there. That was an absolute joy.
See, I was just pouring aviation fuel on Victor.
See what you did there. This episode grew on me after a few watches. It was interesting after the previously on, and then they go into the name riffing. To me, almost felt more how they would typically do a cold open with the Iggy Azaleas and Brandon Flowers.
You're right. That kitchen scene felt more like a cold open. Yeah.
I have an interesting tie-in with my buddy Brian in the small town I grew up in. He used to work for a cable access show, and he would be like the one person in the studio when the three retirees are doing like bingo at 10:30 on a Tuesday night.
Oh man!
And would just show us these horrible clips that he'd make us rewatch again and again, where like a light would fall over, or like one of the balls didn't come up right, and the guys would be like, "Better get on that, Brian."
Oh man!
And then he continued that on to his career. So we started shooting basketball games, and he's probably in his mid-30s and stocky, going bald, and then like all the freshmen will be swooning over him. So apparently, if you want to pick up, high school or college chicks, just start shooting the basketball games at St. Evac.
Wow.
Interesting shit. It grew on me. The Glenn just, I don't know. It seemed like Glenn was almost trying to get Wayne to dress up like McMurray, and then was hitting on Wayne as McMurray, which seemed like a very interesting dynamic with, put this shirt on because the plaid blends and put this little like Mr. Clean earring in.
He's got a thing for Mr. Clean.
I think he's just trying to get Wayne out of his clothes. He didn't care what he put back on. I mean, he succeeded with McMurray. That was hilarious when McMurray.
Yeah. And I like the stump burn. It might have been growing up in rural Nova Scotia, and we had our summer place. There was just like a bunch of kids between like 10 and 12. So we had nothing else to do. So just one evening figured out that bug spray is flammable. So we started spraying the bug spray into a citronella candle. We found out the next day that my sister's copy of the Foo Fighters Color and the Shape was on the other side. So it was getting all the splashback and it was like half burnt and covered in stickiness. So I think I had to buy her a new CD after that one. But it had its ups and downs. I agree that there were a lot of really hard cuts, and it was hard to follow for sure.
Very good. All right, let's move on to ratings for this episode. Matt, we're starting with you. What do you give this episode?
So I'll lead with my rating, and I'll talk. So it's a fresh. It's not a high fresh, but it's a fresh. I really enjoyed it. I can. All the things that you guys are saying that pissed you off, or no, pissed you off, you didn't necessarily like, I actually thought were okay. I get the hard cuts, the cut between Crack and Egg and what did he call it?
Agricult.
That was pretty harsh, but again, the whole awkwardness of that scene and the dryness of their show, it almost fit in a weird way. So I actually was okay with it. And then, yes, I think there was a production issue. They shouldn't have used Wayne's or Kiso's voice to do those because I think it tripped us all out. Well, we will probably never know the truth on whether that was Wayne. I don't think
you can make an educated guess based on the character and stuff that it wasn't.
It doesn't feel in character, but because he was so prominent in this with Crack and Egg and all. And he's prominent in all of them. I thought it was a bit of a miss, but either way, I thought the jokes were hilarious. I thought it was great, and I'm with you, Al. We talked when Victor was going on his rant that the whole town knows that McMurray's a piece of shit. Yeah. So anyone who got even a hint that McMurray might be on TV live taking calls,
absolutely.
I'm not surprised at all he was getting shit. So I'm okay with that. And then the flow was I don't know. It wasn't all over the place. It was the cold open was not a cold open, but it made me laugh. The opening scene totally led into the whole main part of the episode, which made sense. And then, they jumped to this fire scene, the stump burn at the end, and brought back the ending and set up probably what's coming to be in the next few episodes at the end of the episode. They're short episodes. You can only get so much in there and I was okay with it. So the end was great. We got to see all our characters again. Gaylor was there, Riley and Jonesy. It was fun to see them all back. There was some good banter, some really smart writing. No, I thought it was a solid episode, even though there was some obvious gaps, but I'm okay with it. I liked it.
All right. A fresh 10.
It's not a fresh.
Okay. Well, then we got two other options.
It was not a fresh. No, I don't see it that way. Like it was like Victor is saying, like it was so jumpy. And I found it hard to track because it was just so jumpy.
There was one jump or two jumps?
Well, 3 scenes in the entire episode. There was three scenes. Yeah.
So I know, but they're completely separate scenes from one another.
No, 2 of the scenes were directly connected.
Yeah, it was just that third scene was kind of a weird.
Matt, stop
first in the kitchen. Yeah.
When you're wrong, I have to call you on it.
The intro, the cold open, had nothing to do with anything. Then the kitchen scene and the egg haul, fine, that's 2. And then your last scene for the engagement party. Those 3 things did not have anything to do with each other.
But it's very common for the cold open to not have anything to do with it.
Yeah, that's not something that they...
True.
So I don't count that as part of it.
But usually, do they not like call back to it? Like even when they were talking about the stupid ants doing, they called back to it at the end, and the ants.
Sometimes they do.
And they call back. Yeah.
By the way, on the Letterkenny Reddit, somebody actually posted a massive calf tattoo of an ant on a sea-doo, and it looks amazing. It looks amazing. So yes, some people like that scene enough to have it tattooed on their leg.
Oh my gosh.
Love it or hate it, it's brilliant writing.
Yeah.
Like it was just a great scene.
I get what Matt's saying about the whole TV studio and stuff and what Adrian's saying. I get it. And I appreciate that part of it. And if I look at them as individuals, yes, they had some good parts to it. But it kept on losing me. Like, unless I watched it 5 times, like you guys did, my first shot at this, I'm like, it's a compost. Like,
and we haven't convinced you otherwise. It's still compost.
Now, I liked some.
Matt, is Matt frozen? No, he's just sitting there with a bewildered look on his face. You actually looked frozen for a second there.
I didn't see that coming. So I'm hoping she's about to correct herself.
I'm telling you, I was like, I don't know. I was so bewildered. I really was. Alan will tell you.
The look on her face was just like, she really wanted to talk about it last night.
I was like, what the hell did we just watch? Like, what happened? What just happened? So again, if I watched it 5 times, I'd probably throw it in clearance. It wouldn't be a fresh. It had it had some good moments, but not good enough in order to pull it up.
So
I'm sorry.
Compost.
So Canadian. I'm sorry. Composting.
All right. No problem. Okay. I'm going to give this one a clearance. I'm giving this one a clearance. And it's a right down the middle. The scenes in the cable access remind me a lot of Bob and Doug McKenzie, like that kind of show. It reminded me. It put me.
How can you say that and then say clearance?
Well, but hold on. Okay, like.
Take off, eh?
Okay, I'm gonna.
Matt's getting all riled up.
I'm gonna talk about the things I enjoyed. So yeah, it reminded me a lot about Bob and Doug McKenzie. If you pay attention during Crack and Egg when they're talking, watch Squirrely Dan. He's hilarious because he's looking around like, where's that voice coming from? Like he looks.
It's amazing.
It's so funny. Yeah, if you just pay attention to Squirrely Dan during that whole scene, so and so is on the air. Oh, he is, and then the voice comes up and he starts like looking around. Where's that coming from? So funny. I think I'm going to put up a poll. I won't call it a Tanya poll, but I'd like to hear from our listeners who thinks that the caller on the McMurray show was Wayne breaking McMurray's balls, or who thinks that it was actually other townspeople, because I think that does have a bearing on your enjoyment of this episode. Because if you did think it was Wayne, it's obviously out of character and kind of rotten of him to do. But I personally didn't think it was Wayne. The thing that kind of was a waste in this episode, personally, and I hate to say this because I generally like the skids, but the skids were just useless in this whole episode. The only function they served was to amp up the chaos leading up to when they went on the air. Like, that's all they were there for.
I'll give you that one.
To annoy
Katie.
It
was like bring your kids to work day and they're just trying to push buttons.
Yeah. It was just
they were going to do like some music.
Yeah. So
Katie's like wiping her arms off and Stuart and Holt spitting on her.
That's right. Yeah, I caught that too. That was hilarious. But it's like, I didn't understand any of it. And unfortunately, I feel like because Trevor Risk is a DJ and stuff, he probably takes great pride in the stuff that he wrote for them. But to me, it was completely wasted. It didn't add anything. I mean, they could have been chattering about anything and it would have been the same. But anyway, to me, they were kind of just window dressing. Glenn was awesome as usual. McMurray, I thought, was pretty funny too. So to me, like, it's just kind of an uneven episode. And because of that, I can't give it a fresh. I mean, that scene alone is I thought was brilliantly written and acted. But on the strength of that scene alone, I can't give it the whole episode a fresh. So I'm going to give it a clearance. Victor?
It was certainly not a fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been teetering between clearance and compost. And I'll let you know where I landed.
Okay.
Please, we're looking forward to it.
First of all, the cold open. My issue with it is not that it was a good cold open or a bad cold open. There was no cold open.
Right.
They rehashed. It was like a montage, to a hockey game you're about to see, and they're going to show you highlights from previous games. It didn't take any creativity or writing.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, editor, since you're already editing stuff, can you, do that for us? So I thought that's like, and it's whatever percentage of the episode it is, that right there already knocks off some points. The fact that they didn't have really a creative element there.
Yeah. And a short episode too. So yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. So for me, the short episode, it didn't feel short. It did not feel like a short episode. Yeah. So I didn't even catch that it was short. It felt like a regular.
It was 20 minutes long. I mean, it was an average length episode, I guess. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so good. So that part's over. The kitchen scene, because it's kind of your typical fare. I thought the initial dialogue was just a little too forced. That they do that anyway, but it was just like, okay, pitter patter, and at least they set up the whole TV. The studio scene that they're going to go there.
The Gord Ramsay stuff was kind of fun.
I did like the Gord Ramsay stuff. I thought that was good. Hearing Squirrely Dan speaking in a British accent, that's brilliant.
It's always
I'll
fun.
Take that every time.
Yeah, and the monkey hair thing. Yeah,
that was amazing. Yeah,
that was incredible. So yeah, that was great. And then we get to the studio. The highlight again, we've all talked about it, is brilliant. Squirrely looking around. Where the hell is God coming from? Like I love. It's brilliant. My problem with that vignette is tainted with the whole McMurray scene, and it almost doesn't matter whether it was Wayne or not Wayne, because even if it wasn't Wayne, I still think it was just too crude. It made what was just total hilarity and laughter to just this, okay, well, yeah, he's a piece of shit, but it's still like really mean. I didn't like it. And then just a harsh edit to the final scene where finally there's actual stuff happening, like meaningful stuff happening to the storylines and to the characters and stuff like that. But then, and back by the way, back to the studio, the whole stuff with the skids, that was a throwaway. So I agree with that. Yeah. So back to the bonfire. I felt like, that was good and whatnot. Again, this is like, maybe this is because I'm an old fart now or whatever. But when Jonesy and Riley were talking about smashing, it's I don't know. Like to me, it's just they're just okay with you smashed
because they're bros though. That's
I get
dudes.
I get it. But it's like we're talking about smart writing. For me, that part is not. That's just a little bit that's not smart. It's just there. But I'm not, offended by it or anything like that. It was just too much focus on the smashing. If you're going to do the smashing, like there should be like a very small percentage of it and then move on to some other smart dialogue. And I thought there was a little too much center on that. It's a short scene anyway, but it was, like I just felt like maybe take about 10% off of that one and we'll be okay. So anyway, at the end, because this is the first episode, this is again, I have to set the bar a little higher for the game opener, the season opener. I mean, and I feel like they just did not bring it. They did not bring it. It started from the very beginning with not giving us a real cold open. So I have to set the bar at a place where they can only go up. So I have to give it a compost.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I really thought you were going to at least come up to a clearance because, I mean...
Can't do it. Can't do it.
All right.
Maybe on my fifth watch. Remember, I watched this episode today, so I'm still hot and bothered by it. What this tells me is that it does not make the first watch through is not a great impression. Maybe by the fifth one, I'm kind of settled down a little more and a little less prudish and whatnot, and I can enjoy it more. But the first impression, just half hour removed, I expected more. I expected better.
All right, Adrian.
First time I went through it, I definitely get where Tanya and Victor are coming from. It was rough. It seemed like that middle scene just dragged on and on and on, and a lot of like awkward cuts. And I found the skids a little off-putting the first time I went through it. The more I watched it, I just, Al, as you were saying, really was appreciating what K-Trub was doing with Squirrely Dan there, with like the little like mimicking Gordon Ramsay with the baboon, or just kind of like looking around and then like under his breath going, "Oh, well, I don't carry change, so it's $10."
Yeah. That
and then the 9 and 10 back and forth. I also found like the Glenn McMurray and Wayne back and forth, and very interesting, where either McMurray wasn't aware of Glenn's advances, or he's like taken more of a step back on his like homophobic tendencies, because in the past it's very clear, like, well, I'm not one of you, and I understand you, and here he's just kind of like either completely oblivious, which I find hard to get.
I think he's just vain enough that if some other man offers to take pictures of him, he'll pose. I think that's all it was.
We didn't talk about his Speedos, by the way.
The leopard Speedo, or not leopard, the tiger print.
Tiger.
Yeah.
You got to have a lot of confidence in order to come into a room with wearing that.
He's a very confident man. Remember I think that was the same Speedo he wore at the party with him and Mrs. McMurray, the hot tub party, right? So
the cockling.
Yeah.
But it grew on me the more that I watched it. So I'm giving it a solid clearance after going through. The end felt very heartwarming. I always love the scenes where there's everybody together.
Yep.
You saw a good relation dynamic between Wayne and Marie Fred. There was a little arm cock in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the opening was unnecessary. I found the Iggy Azaleas got a little tiring. But the Glenn was fantastic, and I thought the skids had some really great little gags, like them walking in basically being a train with Roll kind of like
there were a lot of like good
arm as a locomotive. So there was some cute stuff in there. A lot of it I just went over my head, and I chopped it up as it's going over my head, because I don't get that.
Very good.
Clearance.
Okay, we'll move on to top fives. I feel like this will be pretty quick. Matt, does this make your top five?
No, it doesn't.
No, Tanya?
No, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't make mine either. Victor?
No, sir.
No, Adrian, I can't remember if you've shared your top 5 episodes before or not, but
yeah, I have a little update.
Oh yeah, okay, go for it.
Since I missed Dick slip out, so I'm keeping relationships and Fuss at the Golf Course 1 and 2. Dick's is going in 3, and then Talent Show and We Don't Fight at Weddings. And I just kind of see the holiday episodes as their own thing. Like they don't really fit in with the story. I mean, I love all of them. I think they're some of the best episodes. I just like to keep them compartmentalized.
Sure. It's your top 5, so you do what you want with them. Great. All right, let's move on to the Postage.store MVP. Matt, who was your MVP for this episode?
So I'm honest. I'm a little heartbroken on this one.
Oh.
You guys, I really enjoyed it, and I'm feeling like an island here. And
you're in your own sandbox.
Fuck, am I ever?
Yeah,
well, you're on an island. Island surrounded by compost here.
Apparently, but I'll get.
I was going to say litter box.
Trash island.
I'll get to my MVP, and I'm taking a bit of a page here on Victor's thinking, but I think mine makes sense because I'm giving my MVP to Crack an Egg. And what I mean by that, I mean the whole scene from the moment they turned on the cameras to when they cut over to McMurray. That whole scene between Glenn trying to get these idiots to talk, to Katie directing calls and pushing them forward, and then Glenn, Derry, and Wayne interacting with their conversations, I thought was one of the best. That honestly, it was one of my favorite scenes in the entire series. I thought it was so well done, so well acted, so just delivered with such brilliance. I'm like, I loved it, and that's really what drove my fresh today was that whole scene, because I love awkward comedy, and that was it at its max.
Yeah, and it was a significant scene, like in a short-ish episode. It was a pretty long scene. So
absolutely
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my MVP. Is Crack an Egg.
Fair enough.
The welcoming of Crack an Egg.
There you go, Tanya.
Hands down, always Glenn. I'm telling you, that man cracks me up. Oh my God. His deliveries, his mannerisms, how he's always like trying to get at Wayne and I love how he delivers things. He's just hilarious.
Okay.
And the fact that he has a part-time job. We have to list all of Glenn's part-time jobs.
He's a waitress. He's a...
Didn't he work in an ice cream stand?
Ice cream stand.
Relationship. Preacher. Parking lot preacher. Yeah.
Bartender. And now a studio. Bartender. Cable access studio manager. I'm sure there'll be others. Yeah. Okay. My MVP, I'm going to give it to a couple. I'm going to give it to Wayne and Squirrely Dan. I thought the scenes with the two of them, especially during Crack an Egg, I mean, Derry had very little to do during those scenes. It was Wayne and Squirrely Dan that they shone in those scenes. Just the ease in their dialogue. You believe that they were just kind of chatting with each other and reacting to each other and stuff. It was really well done. Plus, rewind to the Gord Ramsay part, also very funny. So I'm going to give it to. It's a tie between Wayne and Squirrely Dan. Victor,
are we ready for me to reveal my MVP?
Yes, Victor, go ahead. This is your moment. Your moment to shine. Your moment in the sun.
Okay. Well, I mean, this was a tricky one because the episode was so fragmented. There wasn't kind of one character that kind of led from beginning to end as a star. So
don't say the stump.
Never matters to you.
Don't say the stump. If you say the stump, so help me God.
So, no. It's not going to be anything silly like that. And so for me,
Oh, that was Tanya's guess. Sorry. No, go ahead if it was going to be the stump.
So for me, so for me, I have to give it to the aspect that made the biggest impression on me. And for me, the camera may not agree with Plaid, but I do. If you look at the final scene where they're all at the bonfire,
there's a lot of Plaid.
There's a lot of Plaid, and it was to the point that it was distracting, but in a nice way.
Yeah.
And
Kitty Cat looked amazing.
Yeah. It was, everything was Plaid. Even the chairs were Plaid. Everything was Plaid. So my MVP is Plaid.
What?
Do you know why? Now you see why I tried to stop this game?
Yeah, we're stopping it. Game over.
Plaid.
I mean, it's just like Spaceballs. They've gone Plaid.
I was just about to say that. Great. Yes. Excellent reference. Plaid. All right. Matt, what did you...
I would say I'm going to guess I was the closest.
Oh, what was your guess?
I did choose clothing.
Really?
I thought it was either McMurray's
Speedo
t-shirt or his Speedo.
All right.
Wow. Yeah. That's you're just foul.
Wow.
You foul ball.
Leopard printer Plaid.
Oh, that's funny. Tanya had the stump.
I had the stump or the gasoline on the fire that the whole show.
No, that's ridiculous.
That you didn't. That's
ridiculous.
Wow, there's a line, is there?
I haven't learned my lesson yet. I went with something a little more standard. I went with Glenn. I thought maybe Victor would have started this season off with something like that made
a person.
Sense. A person, yeah.
No. If the episode brings it, I will bring it equally. But Glenn was great, but he wasn't a standout.
Okay, we have to
set ground rules,
set a boundary, and we have to say it has to be a person. It has to be a person. You can't MVP.
Well, I mean, Matt just MVP.
Matt, you don't have an issue with Crack an Egg here.
Mine made sense. Mine was a scene, an actual scene. Yours just wardrobe.
The wardrobe. Do you know how much time and effort goes into wardrobe?
I do.
People that are responsible for wardrobe.
Danny, I'm sure had a hand.
I'm
in
not
that. Okay.
discrediting the wardrobe department.
Adrian, you're witnessing a Victor Matt argument as well. First it was a Victor rant, and now a Victor.
Yeah,
twofer.
But when you dislike an episode, you're like, I just need something else. And I agree. I did recognize there was a ton of Plaid, and I appreciate
All right.
That's not an MVP.
Adrian, why don't we start with what you thought Victor's MVP was before giving yours? What did you think?
Tanny and I were on the same wavelength because I was thinking, and I have it written down. It's either the stump or the aviation fuel.
All right.
That is exactly what I wrote.
I also thought it could be Iggy Azalea's too.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sure. All right. Who is your MVP? Give us bring some common sense back here. What's that?
Yeah, I went with Glenn as well.
Okay.
Is there anything he can't do? He slings ice cream, Preacher. And Jacob just has such hilarious range. Like he's just all over the map, and it's from everything we've heard, like maybe other than Lisa, like he's probably the least like his character in real life. So that's just gotta be amazing to watch that turn on.
That's great. All right. On to news. So, I mean, the only bit of news I have here, and I mean, it won't be new news to most people, but 2 days ago, we had Alex McCooey on, and we had a great time interviewing him, and he was gracious with his time, but also his stories. He was a great interview, like laid back right from the beginning, and Victor managed to not insult his hockey team or any. Matt's like,
he was from Montreal too, so that could have been really rough.
Yeah, no, he was a great, and I was in contact with him today, sent him a t-shirt. He's very, very happy, said he will wear it with pride. So looking forward to that. The episode is available only to patrons right now, but by next Tuesday, it will be on the live feed. So look out for that one. And then Matt, I have updated the vision board to include him. I'll post it when the interview is posted as well. So let's just move on to some final thoughts here. Matt, what are your final thoughts?
I mean, I don't have much this week. I'm a little disheartened. I made that obvious already. I thought I'd at least have maybe Adrian aligned with me. I knew Victor and Tanya were going to be a long shot. Al, I thought you might be close.
I was close.
You were close.
It's a strong scene, but it was just one.
I respected the artistic vision in this one. Maybe is what it was. I don't know. But no, I'm looking forward to the season. And honestly, I don't remember anything like. I know I watched this season, but it's been so long. It's all like brand new to me again because I haven't seen it in so long. So I'm really looking forward what's to come to see where the story goes again. Continue our constant arguments, Victor. These are very pleasurable and I enjoy them. So let's continue to debate. And Adrian, as always, it's such a pleasure to see you, my friend. I'm so glad you could make it. And I can't wait to see you again. I'm looking forward to having you back. It's always fun.
Awesome. 10.
Adrian, I absolutely love your insight. I love your notes. I love you. You actually do make me pause and think and look at the scenes in a different way. And you almost had me. You honestly, you almost had me up to a clearance. Your point.
I'll take some notes from Steven next time.
Your point about Wayne just wouldn't celebrate his engagement party that way. I think is a valid point. But we won't go there. But anyways, I think you bring up some good points. You make me stop and think. So thank you for that. And Victor, game is over. I don't like the game. The game is not fun. And you got to either have boundaries.
It's unwinnable.
you either have to have boundaries, or this game's done. And those are my points.
She created it. She can take it away, I guess, right?
And I say that,
I can give it and I can take it away.
Right? I should be, foot's down.
All right. We'll talk about that.
Although we did the Twitter poll thing and they all said that they wanted to keep it.
Yeah.
It's not actually scientific. We know this, right?
People like torturing us, I think.
People can make fake accounts like Massachusetts.
Yeah, who would do that? Who would do that?
Once you birth the baby, you can no longer abort it.
Oh my God, Victor!
All right. Moving on from that. Jeez.
Dude.
Adrian, it was great to have you back on, bud.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
I love you, Victor.
Oh, dude, I can't wait to hang out in person.
Oh yeah, we got to do. Oh, by the way, next week's episode will mark our 1 year anniversary. So we'll
patio is in order.
We really need to get together on a patio somewhere, and we will do that. But anyway, next week, 1 year. I don't know. Maybe I feel like we should do something special for that. So let's brainstorm that one. Adrian, like I said, thank you for coming out, bud. Great to see you, and happy belated Independence Day there. This episode, I mean, I'm looking forward to this season. Like we with the recap episode, the egg haul and stuff. It's good to be back to the recap episodes and working on a new season. So I'm looking forward to it. And Victor's right. It can only get better from here, you would hope. And I don't remember much from this season either, except that I know that there's more crack and egg coming. So there's that, but that's all I can remember from this season. So I'm looking forward to what comes next. Victor.
Adrian, you're a scholar and a gentleman. Thank you for coming prepared with your notes. You make us look like a bunch of amateurs, but that's okay. That's what we appreciate about you, and you bring it each time. So that's really awesome. In terms of the season, all you have to do is look back to the previous season. It did not start out well, but it gave us what I feel is probably the best episode of the series so far. With the dick slip out. So I have nothing but good thoughts and feelings about this season as well, that we're going to get probably a few gems, as we always do. So yeah, it can only get better from here. So hoping for a better episode next week, and more kind of fun and banter with the gang. So yeah.
And Adrian.
Always a pleasure to talk to you guys, whether it's on the Twitter group or in person online. It's just very fun to see the dynamic. It's just so just that sign of respect that you can be at each other's throats one dive in 1 minute, and then the next minute Matt's going, "I love you, Victor." So it's always nice to see like that Canadian respect that's always in there. And it's congratulations on 1 year. It's just been such a fun discovery, and watching you guys go down this journey on the first couple episodes where it's just like such a rift, and I don't think we'll ever get into it. And now, the two that were a little slow to jump on board, or is like, okay, this isn't up to the normal quality of the show.
Yeah, you're right.
So I get that it's a good show, but it's not a good Letterkenny show. And it's just, it's been a really fun ride, and a great listen.
All right.
Sure. And it's a really cool community that we have going on.
Agreed. Okay, I'm playing us off here with a song from this episode called "Voo Voo Voo" by Mastercraft or Mr. Craft. There are no vowels in this, so I'm going to say Mastercraft. Here we go. A little bit of a techno. And that's all we have for this episode. Next week, we welcome our buddy Chad back to the produce stand to help us review and recap episode 2 of season 7, Red Card, Yellow Card. Don't forget to give our sponsor Diabolical Coffee some love. They're at diabolicalcoffee.com. Right now, you can use a promo code produce stand for 10% off any purchase from their site. If you'd like to support the podcast, rate us on iTunes, become a patron. There's a Patreon link on our site or Twitter profile at Produce Stand Pod. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Produce Stand Pod. Thanks for joining us. Now we're going to get fucking reckless. On behalf of Adrian, Matt, Victor, Tanya, and myself, thank you for listening and have a great week.